Hi, everyone. Welcome to Dustin the Blind Minnesotan podcast. Today, I want to talk about something that's very important to our community that never gets discussed. Because, us disabled people are already nervous coming out to the world and saying, hey, we're disabled. Here we are. Pa-plow, pa-plow, pa-plow. With the camera lights, kind of like celebrity style. You know what I mean? I am very open with my disability with the world and at work. I kind of even wear a I have low vision pin while I'm at work. So I'm very flashy with my disability. But not everyone is like me, and not everyone speaks out like me. And that's okay. The whole world does not have to be like me. So today I want to talk about some places where disabled people can go get food, because a lot of disabled people who do not work, or if they try to work, no one will hire them, so they can't work. So you're kind of stuck in this twilight zone. No matter what you do, you're screwed. So finding food that's affordable, based off our limited income, is getting harder and harder and harder by the day. And, you can easily go crazy, trying to feed yourself and your family and your other loved ones in your life. It's easy to go crazy. That's what I'm trying to say. It's easy for you to go crazy. So I'm going to mention some places where you can go get groceries and live your best disabled life. And so then things can be easier for you as a disabled person. Because I'm going to tell you, today, me trying to get to work the last few days on public transportation has been a pain in the ASS. I'm saying ASS because there's kids in the background of this. And because one day the bus is delayed because of weird stuff happening on Central. The other day I was literally on the bus heading towards work, and the bus broke down. And then because the bus broke down, I was late to work because I had to, wait for the next bus, and, Central's already a mess. So, me getting to work as a disabled person every day sometimes can be an adventure, because I'm on the 10 bus, and the 10 bus going down Central is an adventure itself. So, just to throw that out there. So, me, just a disabled person, just trying to get around sometimes is frustrating, and me trying to get to work sometimes is frustrating. But I'm trying to be a productive member of society. I'm trying to commit to society. But sometimes when people don't give us a chance or help us, we can't contribute to society. So because we are so limited, we're not like everyone else. So I just want to throw that out there because it's my podcast. I can do with this episode what I want. I just want to throw that out there when I'm mentioning this and when I'm talking about this topic, because I don't expect all disabled people in America and even Minnesota to be like me. So let's get on to it. Well, the first place where you can try to get groceries, that's a lower price, is Mike's Discount Foods. Well, Mike's Discount Foods is a private company, and they are trying to make money. So it's not going to be it's not like a charity. It's not like a non-profit organization that tries to purposely help disabled people. Mike's Discount Foods is a corporate chain that just sells cheap food to anyone with low incomes. You can be a senior, you can be a person who just got unemployed, just got laid off. It sells to anyone. But Mike's Discount Foods is just the biggest corporation in Minnesota that sells discounted foods. And how Mike's Discount Foods gets their discounted food is if Target or Cubs orders too much food and they can't sell it all, they sell the leftover food to Mike's Discount Foods and then at a discount. And then because Mike's Discount Foods buys the food for cheaper, they can pass that cheaper price to the customer. And Mike's Discount Foods has multiple locations, okay? They have multiple. But the 3 most accessible locations are Hilltop, Coon Rapids, and Fridley. They do have some in Princeton and all that stuff, but those are not accessible by public transportation. And you as a disabled person, it's going to be hard for you to get there. So the most accessible stores are Hilltop, Fridley, and Coon Rapids. And all 3 of those stores are along a city bus line. And all 3 of those stores are in the Metro Mobility service area. So if you live in a part of town that doesn't have a bus line, you can still get to those 3 stores with Metro Mobility. So, but the best Mike's Discount Foods of the 3 is Fridley, because Fridley is a massive store. The Fridley Mike's Discount Foods is their version of going to a Cubs. And to explain how Mike's Discount Foods is, Mike's Discount Foods is like a Dollar General that sells produce. So you go in there, you'll find chips, you'll find energy drinks, you will find produce, you will find, some things like yogurt, eggs, and then you'll find ketchup, some kind of peanut butter, some kind of chicken dip sauce, and you'll find meat like hot dogs, chicken nuggets, things that you'll find at like kind of a bigger Dollar General out in the ritzy suburbs. So Mike's Discount Foods is pretty much like a Dollar General, or pretty close. So, but when you go, you want to bring your own bags, because to keep the costs low, Mike's Discount Foods doesn't provide you bags. So when you go to Mike's Discount Foods, you want to make sure that you bring a shopping bag with you. Like when I go to the one up in Hilltop, I bring my utility cart, because I take the city bus. I take the 10 there. So then, I go there, I walk in with my utility cart, I load my groceries into my utility cart, go up to the counter, I pay, and then I put my groceries back into my utility cart, and then I walk to the bus and I go home. But just to let you know, the Hilltop store is the small store. But so if you go to the Hilltop store, be lucky there's a Dollar General like right next to it. So what I do is I go to Dollar General and I get all my canned foods and my non-produce. And then I go to the small Mike's Discount Foods next door to Dollar General, and then I get my produce there. But the one in Fridley, they sell everything that you need in one store, so then you don't have to do store hopping. And the one in Coon Rapids is kind of small, so you can't find everything you need there because it's small. So you're still going to need to, go to a second store to get things. So if you're going to take a bus ride or a Metro Mobility ride to one of the Mike's Discount Foods, the best one to go to is in Fridley, because for your bus ride, you get more stuff for your bus ride. And then, bring your utility cart with you if you can find one or buy one, because when you're there, you're going to buy so much stuff, because, you're going to like shopping there, that you're going to run out of room if you're just trying to carry it with your hands. So my advice is bring a utility cart with you, because you'll find enough that you'll fill it up, and it's worth bringing with you. And the Fridley one is is where the one I work at. So I work at the Fridley Mike's Discount Foods. So I work at the big one. And I chose the big one on purpose because the big one has more things to do during the day than the small ones. So then, my shifts go by quicker at work because there's more things for me to do, so then I'm not bored at work. And then some of our competitors that try to compete against me when I'm working at Mike's Discount Foods that sell groceries to disabled people and people on fixed incomes that are having issues out there is the Food Group. The Food Group would be our biggest competition, and they're labeled in New Hope, Minnesota. That one is also on the bus route, and they take Metro Mobility there, but the city bus route out in New Hope kind of sucks because it's kind of a second ring suburb, and most people in a second ring suburb drive. So the city bus is not going to be the best out there. So out there, if you're going to want to go to the Food Group in New Hope, you're going to want to, just take Metro Mobility there to be realistic, or take an Uber, a taxi, a cab, to get there. And the Food Group kind of has weird hours because the Food Group is a food shelf. So if you're totally broke and they can decide, okay, you're going to the Food Group side or like the low income grocery store side. Because when you show up to the Food Group, there's two doors. There's the free food side and there's the low cost food side. And the low cost food side is open to the general public certain days of the week. While the food shelf side is, you can, as long as you call and make an appointment, you can go there and get food anytime. So the Food Group has a paid service that's kind of functions like Mike's Discount Foods, and then they have a food shelf service. And it's called the Food Group, and it's in New Hope. And another good place to go check out is called Good Grocer. And Good Grocer is located in South Minneapolis. And they're about the size of an Aldi's. And that place has very good public transportation to get there with the city bus network. And Metro Mobility also works 24 hours in South Minneapolis. So the Food Group, the Good Grocer is a good place to go if you're disabled, because it's the easiest place for you to go. But the Good Grocer is going to be more expensive than the Food Group and Mike's Discount Foods, because the Food Group gets a lot of their food donated, so there's no cost, while Good Grocer has to buy brand new food from places like Cubs and stuff. But the way that they get their food, Good Grocer gets their food cheaper, is that they have volunteers running the grocery store. But if people can't volunteer, they have to pay someone, and then they have to raise the prices. So it's kind of like a double-edged sword. So it's kind of complex with the Good Grocer. When I lived in downtown Minneapolis, I had mixed feelings about them because some weeks they couldn't find a volunteer, so they had to pay someone, and then they raised their prices for that week, and then the Good Grocer is just as expensive as Cubs. And then the next week they were able to find volunteers, and then the prices dropped because they didn't have to pay that person. So the Good Grocer is hit and mix. Some one week is cheaper, just like the Food Group, or some weeks it's expensive like Cubs. It depends if they can find someone willing for free to run that store. But the Food Group and Mike's Discount Foods are your best two options when it comes to cheap food. That's what I'm trying to say. And then you can check out places like Wedge Lindale Co-op in slash we call it the Wedge when I lived in downtown. And the Wedge Lyndale Co-op in South Minneapolis, you have to you have to pay to shop there, okay? If you're not disabled or low income. But some of the co-ops, you can, when like you're signing up for their membership, you can say, hey, I'm disabled, I'm low income, and you show them your bank statements, and then you show them like evidence like you have an EBT card or whatever. And then they'll give you like a membership to shop there for free. And then you can get the discounts at the co-op just like, everyone else does. And the co-ops are like cheap because they don't have to make money off the groceries. So that co-op in South Minneapolis, they work like a Costco. So if it costs the co-op $12 to buy a box of tomatoes, they're going to sell the box of tomatoes for $12. And they're going to break even directly on the food because they're not making money off the food. They're making money off the memberships of people coming in to buy the food. So the more people sign up for a membership, the more money, the more profit the store is making. So that's how kind of in a co-op is owned by everyone who owns a membership. So like once or twice a month they might have a meeting and they vote and they have a vote who's going to lead the co-op, who's going to be responsible for the co-op, and they kind of have elections like how HOA does. And then boom, you kind of elect like a co-op president, or like kind of like runs like a HOA president. And then and the store kind of runs like an HOA, like when it's a co-op. And so there's multiple people who kind of own the co-op, and some co-ops are a little bit more flexible than like a normal grocery store like Mike's Discount Foods. And then you have the Seaward community co-op that's also located in South Minneapolis, and that one, they charge people to shop there too, but a lot of the co-ops like that, just like the other one, they will give disabled people discount and all that stuff, if they shop there, if you show them evidence. Because a lot of the co-ops, they're open in neighborhoods where a normal grocery store like Aldi's won't open. And because they do that, a lot of the co-ops are owned by people in that local neighborhood. So then they want to support the neighborhood, and you're in the neighborhood. So then they're willing to make it more of adjustments for you than you shopping in a place like Aldi's. And then you have like the county ran food shelves, like the ones we have here in like Anoka County where I live. So our food shelves here in Anoka County and Hennepin County and Ramsey County work similarly. So what they do is when you go in there and you get food, they check your income statements. Are you permanently disabled or not? And then they direct you based on your income. If like you qualify for no payment on your food, they take you to the free side of the building. If you make some money and you can afford food but at a reduced price, they take you to that side of the building, and that side of the building works like a Mike's Discount Foods. So so then you can get to those places, Metro Mobility, and a lot of the food shelves like that are along the bus line because they want people to get to them. And Mike's Discount Foods in Fridley, the best time for disabled people to go there is like Wednesday through Sunday, because Mondays and Tuesdays we're normally so busy that it's hard for us to provide personal service because we're trying to get ready on Monday for the Tuesday sale. And the Tuesday sale, the store is so busy that we can't keep up with everything because, everyone wants the big sales we have on Tuesday. So, but if you come Wednesday through Sunday, when the store is a little bit slower when you're disabled, if you need help, we have the time and the energy to help you. So better, than if you came on a Monday or Tuesday. So, so if you're disabled, if you're coming to Mike's Discount Foods, definitely do it from between Wednesday and Sunday. And the one in Fridley and Hilltop are both along the 10U bus. So, and Metro Mobility will run to the Hilltop store or in the Fridley store 24 hours a day. So, so then you don't, because it's an ADA zone. So, they're both very easy stores for you to get to. And another store I like to mention is this store is a little bit more expensive, but because it's a little bit more expensive, you're gonna get more. I know, I'm trying to go for cheaper options, but if you go to Empire Foods and Brooklyn Center, that's along the D and C lines, or you can take Metro Mobility there. You're gonna pay more money for food. That's bad for disabled people, but at least there the store is small enough that if you need help, there's people there to help you. And you have, and then a lot of the mom and pop grocery stores in Minneapolis and St. Paul, they're more willing to help you too if you talk to the owners and you get to know the owners. They're never really going to give you free food, but they can reduce the prices low enough for you that that they're at least breaking even. So so always try, if possible, always go to those small stores, guys. Try to go to the small stores and support them. And if you support them, the owners will notice, hopefully, and then they're able to help you. You scratch my back, I scratch yours kind of attitude. So, guys, I just wanted to, and then when I have you on this podcast, what I do at Mike's Discount Foods in Fridley is I work in the produce department. So, and I'm going to say, as a visually impaired person, working in the produce department, it's hard because it's hard for me to notice defects on the produce. I'm going to admit, I'm not the best produce person in the universe, right? But I try. If you're going to work in this retail industry as a blind or visually impaired person, you want to work in the grocery department, where you're just stacking cans and cereal and that kind of stuff. Because if you stack something wrong, something's not going to mold up right away and need to be thrown away. So in the grocery department, you can kind of go slower, take your time, and stack the product right. Well, in produce, you're always in a rush. You're always in a rush because I'll stack tomatoes, and in 30 minutes, someone bought half the tomatoes, and then I have to refill it again. It's produce at Mike's Discount Foods is a more fast-paced environment. So, you have to, but as a visually impaired person or blind person, you want a slower environment. So working at Mike's Discount Foods in Fridley in kind of the grocery department, that is your kind of best choice. And remember, you guys, even if you guys don't live a place around a Walmart, you can download the Walmart app, pay for Walmart Plus, and Walmart will deliver food to your front door. And all these has similar features with their mobile app. So guys, I hope you're having a good day, and thank you for listening. Bye-bye.